Consistency to me means putting in the action, doing the action and not and yet and avoiding and understanding the risks. That's what consistency means to me. And the thing is, it's not even every day is like, oh yeah, you got to be in the gym every day. That's consistency. Consistency just to improve yourself as a human being. To improve your mental attitude, your physical attitude, your physical being as a person. I think consistency is just about repetitive actions towards a bigger goal.
Amos Madra.
Moziah Pinder, influencer, entrepreneur, model, actor. You do everything. A man of faith and passion. How are you?
How are you? You well? Thanks
I'm
for having me,
good.
man. Thanks for
Yes,
having
I'm
me. Yeah.
good. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. I've been looking forward to this for so long. So just to have you here today, it's an absolute pleasure. I don't know
No,
where to
Amos, I really
start. There's
appreciate
so
it.
many questions, when someone you're influenced by is sat there in front of you, it's like, where do you begin? I've got a whole
Let's
plethora
talk.
of questions.
Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk.
So, when I think about who you are, you're someone who's very humble. You're very passionate about what you do. You're very disciplined. You've achieved a lot. You've got results. You give results to your clients who you train, and you give results to your followers as well. There's so much about you. There's a lot of substance. Where does that come from?
I think it just comes from me as a person in general. I mean, like in my personal life around my friends, I offer them my best self, and I think, my social media and everything else I do, that isn't, in the physical realm of life is just a reflection of my personality, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting is when you were growing up, you weren't really into bodybuilding. You almost fell into it by accident. We'll come to that in a moment. But talk to us about your childhood and what life was like for you, and studying in school and then becoming this athlete.
School was I never saw myself, as someone who was going to be, a bodybuilder or an athlete. I was very much headed towards a path of sports anyway, because I went to my high school was a sports academy, so we focused a lot of sports there. We focused on sports a lot there, so it was really just um the trigger for me going into the gym I never saw it coming, never saw it coming in a million years. But the athlete aspect and the training and the discipline was always there as a kid, and sports for me was just an escape from life anyway, so I was naturally always wanting to do sports. It was just I felt so free being able to run, play football, basketball, whatever sport it was I was doing after school that was all I was looking forward to.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting how you almost fell into bodybuilding by accident, because I can relate to that. With this, I almost fell into this by accident. It
Wow.
wasn't something I had planned. I just had a friend who said to me, "Hey, look, we're going to a radio studio tonight. Come and have a
Yeah.
look, see, what you think." And that was it. I fell in love, and I was like, "Okay, I dig this."
And Amos, how long ago was that? How long ago? How long have you been?
No, this sounds crazy. 20 years ago.
20 years. 20 years. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but yeah, a complete passion for it. And that was it. I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So, tell us about your journey, how you fell into bodybuilding.
So it was from a football game. So basically what happened was, I was tackled really badly, broke my collarbone during the tackle. And then the kind of therapy behind me getting back to my full strength to be able to play football again was the doctor said, listen, you have to strengthen your shoulders and your chest area, because the collarbone, that's where my collarbone was broken. So he said, listen, these are the exercises you need to do. Luckily my high school had a gym. We had a gym in our high school. which my dad used to go to as well. So that was also like a like a push to go to the gym too. Um, and yeah, I just started strengthening my chest and my shoulder again, really to get back into football. But the process of me strengthening my body back again to play sports again, I just started falling in love with the pain of training, which sounds really weird, but it was such a different feeling. I've never felt like this before. And, me pushing out these reps, it just started triggering something inside, and ever since then, football started becoming second to me training. And naturally, just I phased out football, and I just said, listen, I love this feeling I get from the gym. After my session, it's like all these endorphins running around, and like you feel amazing, and your mind is clear, and you have a clearer direction of where you want to go in life. And the gym really, training just gave me that from the gym. Yeah.
And that's really interesting. So that was around 16.
Yeah.
And would you say going into college, because obviously you're thinking about, okay, what am I going to study? What do I want to do? And obviously making it who you are today. What happened there?
So, I left high school, just wanting to continue training, So naturally for me, the one of the options I looked at was, okay, what college is going to give me the best training facility, you know? And at the time, there was the area I was in, there was a college not too far. And I was still playing football at this time. I was still playing football, but football was second to training, you know? Um, and I was fortunate really to be able to travel with football and, go around the country and play football at a semi-professional level, but still, training and going to the gym, that was my number one for me. And yeah, it got to a point where, I was getting, the passion for football was not there. I stopped going training, and I was just in the gym. That was it, because there was nothing beating this feeling of me training and being in the gym, physically bettering myself, mentally bettering myself. Football wasn't giving me that, And yeah, it got to a point where, I told my dad how I'm feeling and what's going on, and how I just wanted to be in an area where I could focus on myself and, the individual, and stop all these distractions around me. And yeah, we packed my stuff, and I lived in Leeds for a year. And in Leeds, I was able to really focus on myself as an individual. And it was that 1 year I spent in Leeds, I completely transformed my whole life.
Talk to us about that period.
So it was, I think as a young teenager in London, there's so many distractions, especially when you're, someone who has a promising future, and, you're doing all of these things in sports and athletics. Distractions are just always there. So, me and my dad came up with a solution. The best thing for me was to leave London, go to live in Leeds, for a year, and, just focus on myself and what I want to do with myself. And during that whole year, I spent that whole year training. Like, my dad came and he visited me, and I was a completely different person, physically, mentally, completely different, and I think that year changed. That year just triggered this whole journey for me, 100%.
And that's been very important to your journey. You talk about
Yeah.
faith and passion and having the right people around you.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad, not just being your father, but a mentor as well, guiding you and giving you the direction. Talk to us about having that right group around you to help you with your journey.
It was insane, because I went from surrounding myself to people who don't really understand what I want to do in life, not really, almost just fueling the distractions. And yeah, I mean, I went to Leeds, and I don't know what it was, but immediately I was surrounded by people who just wanted me to succeed. I had people telling me, no, you're not going to skip gym today, we're going to go gym today. My best friend Daniel, who I'm still very close with today, 10 years later, was the one who would drag me out of, college and be like, we're going gym today, you know? And yeah, he was just someone in my corner that was just not letting me rest. It was like, no, we're going gym. That was it. Like there was no like parties or no going to see this person, chilling with girls. There was none of that. It was just like, no, we're going gym.
Yeah.
And that was a massive, massive, massive guy in my corner to just continue to fuel this passion of mine. And it was just, my faith was just always to know that, there's a reason why this is happening. There's a reason why, these challenges are coming towards me and they're happening. And then there's always the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously the sacrifices, because it takes dedication to build. And that's the word there. It's a build, isn't it? It's not overnight. We all wish we had a body like yours, but it takes time. It's a consistency, the building. You've had to make a lot of sacrifices. What are some of the biggest sacrifices you've had to make to get to where you are?
It's probably the lack of the social aspect of things, just being able to just be a teenager or just being a young man, just like, I never got to be that person because there was always this vision, this plan that I had to execute. And that was, yeah, that's probably the biggest sacrifice, is just putting my passion before everything else, and then knowing that there's a bigger plan for me at the end of that. Yeah.
And what does consistency mean to you?
Consistency to me means putting in the action, doing the action, and not and yet and avoiding and understanding the risks. That's what consistency means to me. And the thing is, it's not even every day is like, oh yeah, you got to be in the gym every day. That's consistency. No, consistency just to improve yourself as a human being, to improve your mental attitude, your physical your physical being as a person. I think consistency is just about, repetitive actions towards a bigger goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you certainly proved that. You certainly got it on lock in terms of, your body is in tip-top condition. It's the body we all want. You've got a fantastic following on social media. Your acting career, your career and business is completely taken off like a rocket.
Thank you.
Talk to us about, building that journey. Talk to us about building that business, because again, it's a build. It's not by accident. It's not by fluke.
No.
It's hard work. It's graft.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane actually, because things in my life happen so naturally. Like there was, of course, I always knew, the journey that I wanted to do. I always knew, the endeavors and the adventures I wanted to go on with myself and my businesses and my acting career. And I wanted to be able to do those to do everything I can, to be the best version of Moziah that I know. That's always the plan. That's always the goal. And it's crazy because when you emit this energy about yourself and you emit this great, this aura about yourself, it's like people just gravitate towards that. And throughout my life, I've had people gravitate towards me and say, hey, listen, there's something that you can do here. Let's set this up. This is the plan. This is a plan. You can do this. And yeah, it's absolutely insane. Like the people I have around me now just came towards me so naturally. I never expected to have the people in my life I have right now. And they just drew to me, and I drew myself to them. Naturally. Just we met through, either it was mutual friends or at an event, and we spoke, and all of a sudden it's like these businesses and these things just start to happen. Of course, social media has helped a lot. I'm fortunate I'm able to again gravitate people towards me. It's like I never ask these sponsors to come towards me. It's like it's all just a natural way for it to happen, and it was definitely amazing. And it's just how I carry myself as well. I emit good energy, and good energy comes back to me.
That's so beautiful. That's so good. That there just is everything. It's that good energy, isn't it? It's just that
Yeah,
passion, that love for life.
yeah.
And again, it goes back to your motto, isn't it? It's just the passion and the love, and very emotive in that sense. How can we take that and apply that to our own lives?
I think it's about finding the values, finding values that you truly believe in. If you're able to really sit down and, I've been able to travel to some amazing places and spend time with very, very wise old men. It sounds insane, but it's and you spend time with these people, and it's like they teach you, the way of life and the way a man should be, and the way people should carry themselves. And I take away a lot from people like that. I was able to, like, a few years ago, I was able to spend time with this amazing tribe, this really old man, and he just had this magical presence about him, and ever since then I just took away everything he ever taught me, which was just about understanding that anything that's supposed to happen will always happen, um being able to be yourself, and understand that it's okay to not maybe be the most popular person around, or not be liked by people, or not, just as long as you truly love yourself, and all you want to do is spread love, then good things will always find you. The universe will always has a way to reward good-hearted people, and people who generally just want to help and have great energy about themselves.
Yeah. And I think another thing I pick up from, what you just said there is following instruction. You know, those who listen and can follow instructions tend to get further in life. It's that being humble again, to listen and pick up on what somebody was saying to you and not think, oh, I haven't got time to listen to this person.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Have you always been someone who listens to instructions and applies instructions?
Honestly, if my dad watches this, he's gonna kill me. But it comes from my dad. Honestly, it comes from my dad. Growing up, my dad is somebody. Honestly, if you sit down with him and he talks to you about his life, you will leave knowing that, how is this man still around? Like, how is he even alive? The adventures that my dad has been on. Just as a child, I just love listening to his stories. I love listening to what my dad has been through in his life, to be able to want to have me as a son. And I think listening, and just the basic things of just listening, comes from just my dad, and like sitting and him telling me stories all night about his life. And I think that's what it stems from. And I love being able to just listen to people's stories, just listen to what somebody has to say, because you never know what they're going to give me and what I'm going to be able to take away from them.
Yeah. Has your dad always been your hero?
My dad has always been somebody who I follow the values of, I follow his values, you know. He's a very, very humble man. He's a very wise man, and he's always going to be able to teach you something. Even to this day, my dad will still, I'll listen to my dad and he'll teach me something, you know. Um, and yeah, I think it stems from being able to stop and listen to anyone, I guess fortunately for me, I've just been around old wise men. I think
Yeah,
that's what it is.
absolutely. It's interesting though, isn't it? Your dad influenced you and put these good seeds in you, and gave you the balance and structure that you needed. And now that's led you to go on to influence, millions of people, making an impact. It's funny how it comes full circle. I'm sure sometimes he looks at it and thinks, wow, proud of his son and what you've gone on to achieve.
Yeah, he tells me all the time. He tells me, he's like, oh, I watched this video of you on YouTube, or I saw this interview of you over here, and I saw you on TV over here. And it's just, yeah, it's just being able to kind of tell my dad, it's like, yes, all these years I really have been listening to you, Pops, you know, like, you know, and it's, yeah, it's being able to just show him that, you know, I'm really trying to do something here for us, you know, and go forward with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we want to listen to you and get some value. What can we do when we're just starting out and we want to build our bodies like
Yeah.
yours?
You know, I think number one is don't go into it looking for results, you know, because when you go into looking for results, you're going to be mathematically, sorry, trying to do everything. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I need to have this, you know, just fall in love with training, you know, just understand how amazing it is for yourself. And once you start falling in love with the training, the process becomes so much easier. You know, I tell my clients all the time, it's like, we're going to start this month off really slowly. You know, I just want you to get into the habit of, oh, it's 7 o'clock, it's 4 o'clock, it's time for me to go to the gym. You know, not necessarily saying to yourself, planning the, you know, the gym around your day. It's about just it happening so naturally. And, you know, that's how you build consistency. You don't build consistency with things you don't like. You
Yeah.
don't, you know, you build
Yeah.
consistency with things that you like. And then eventually it will turn into, you know, into something that is just a part of your life.
Yeah.
Training becomes a part of your life. And it's, you wake up in the morning, you go to the gym, you come back, you don't even think about it because it's happened,
Yeah.
you know? And I think once people are able to find that small switch, you know, I think results they just start to follow because this consistency has now become a habit, and this habit has now become a lifestyle. And this lifestyle is change your whole attitude towards, you know, yourself. And physically, it just happens naturally. You know, I never expected to look the way I look now. It just started from me loving to train. That was it. You know,
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be 104 kilos shredded, ripped. I never thought that at all. I just thought I really love going to the gym. I love the way it makes me feel, and let's see where it takes me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, for those of us who, you know, will love to look good, but let's be honest, it's trying to get our minds in the right place. We certainly want the body, we want to get there. Would you say visualization, intention, and just imagining yourself enjoying the workout, would that help? Does that help? Should we just give ourselves a 5 minute break and just go and meditate and just visualize and see ourselves working out? Would that work as a tactic?
Amos, you've actually hit the nail on the head. It's about understanding what you eventually want to look like. You know, that's all it is. It's about knowing, okay, I have a picture of me in my head, and I know exactly what I'm going to look like. You know, that's, and then, you know, and then going ahead and doing the action and going through the process, you start to implement exercises that will help you look like that. You
Yeah,
know, and you hit the nail on the head. It's just understanding is like, okay, cool. In 2 years' time, I want to look like this. And then going ahead and putting the plan down, the consistency, and then going ahead and do it. And then in that 2 years, you should have been able to build the vision you had of yourself.
yeah. I like that you said 2 years. Most of us think 4 months.
No,
So
no, no.
school us on that, please.
Listen, anything that happens in 4 months to me is just it's completely false. It's greatness can't come in 4 months. You know, it takes years of you know hard work for it to come. But you know, after that 2 years, you know, even that year for some people, you know, they've already stamped this part of their life, this part of their journey, you know, into their lives. You know, it's now become a routine. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And talk to us about diet, because on your feeds, you know, I see you posting food on there. You know, you cook. I see you cooking. I'm
Yeah.
like, this guy's just, you know, everywhere. Is just he's on it.
I mean, yeah, again, the love for cooking came from my dad. My dad, we used to cook. everything. He's a great cook, and I think that just passed on to me. And I generally enjoy cooking as well myself. And my diet is pretty simple. I tend to stay away from red meat. I'm very much a fish-based person. I eat a lot of fish. Again, that comes from my Caribbean dad. We just used to eat fish. I grew up as a pescatarian. So I only started eating meat when I was 14, 15. And I think, me staying away from meat from that long just became, something easy for me to be able to do. I go for weeks without having to eat meat. So it's mainly just, that my source of protein will come from fish.
What can we do? Because some of us it's hours without meat days. What what can we do?
Yeah.
How can we switch up our diet?
It's patience. You have to have patience. You really do, because your body is so used to this routine of having to eat this or having to do this, and you have to just give it what it wants sometimes. And then there's so how I recommend a lot of my clients to try and implement fish into their diet is, I'll say 3 days a week, no meat. Let's find other sources of protein for you to be able to have. And then, in 4 months' time, it will be, okay, cool, let's do 5 days a week with no meat. And then it's just a slow, gentle, like a drip feed. You drip feed your body meat just to tell it to chill out. You're still eating meat, but slowly phasing it out of your diet. And then eventually, a year and a half, meat just becomes something that doesn't taste so good, you know? And then I think once you hit that bit where meat stops tasting the way it used to taste, you're starting to then, go into the vegetarian, pescatarian side of things. Yeah.
Yeah, this interview is going to be on repeat for me.
Thank
But
you,
I'm
Amos.
sure the audience as well will have this on repeat too. But wow, a ton of value right there. So good. So, what is a typical day like for Moziah? What do you do? How's your day structured?
So, I would wake up in the morning. So a typical Monday for me, I'd wake up, get ready for the gym, have my bowl of oats, go and train, come back, and then eventually I'll have my calls and my meetings, at around midday, and then I'll then go make sure my clients, check in on my clients after that, which will be around 2 p.m. And then the rest of the evening will just be spent on growing my businesses, creating content, editing with my videographer, coming up with ideas, speaking to a few business partners who are doing my merchandise and other companies, and then just designing logos and designing my accessories and my other brands that I'm working on, and just going forward with that. So a lot of it is spent on, honestly, it sounds crazy, a lot of it is spent on calls, emails, Zoom meetings, and yeah, editing software, recording in front of camera, heading back to the gym, but it's just purely just to film content because I've already got my session in. So we'll just be filming content after that. Yeah.
So, Moziah, talk to us about the business side of things because you've got a full team behind you. You've got
Yeah.
obviously content creators. You've got your administration team as well. You've got your business planners, marketers, sales, everything. You've got courses that you offer. You've got your personal training. You've got so many different businesses that you're involved in. Talk to us about that.
So one of my main managers, he helps me manage all of my commercial deals and all of my commercial interests. And I catch up with him every other day to find out what content needs to go out, how it needs to go out, what brands that we're now working with, and securing those deals and then going ahead and creating content for them, either meeting with them via Zoom meetings. So he helps me manage a lot of my commercial deals, and then I've got my coaching team, help me manage my clients. They help me onboard the process of my clients, and they help manage my social media for my coaching side of things. So they really help me run my social media, that coaching social media page for me. But again, it's always just feeding them the content, us understanding us. So then, I'll speak with them, and that's every day. I speak with those guys every day. And we know exactly what the plan for the week is. We know how many clients we want to get on board this week, and how many lives we want to help transform. And we really will like working with people who just generally, again, have a passion for fitness, understanding. So, onboarding a client can take, 2-3 days, because we really want to understand, what the client is about, their goals, and essentially, to a lot of my clients, I'm a life coach for them. I want them to talk to me about, if they're having a bad day, talk to me, let me know how I can help you understand your body and understand how to manage this day that you're going through. I manage a lot of, guys, dads who have children, and how to help structure their day with work, kids, gym, food, and then I've got, my assistant who helps me with my emails, getting back to my emails and everything. And then I've got a videographer who really just helps me edit my videos. Honestly, he's a wizard when it comes to editing, and he's really, really, really great at being able to. I just send him a bunch of content, he just gets it back to me all done nicely, and he knows my style now. And it's again, I have people around me who want me to, succeed, and I want everybody to be able to succeed and be the best versions of themselves. And I think that's the energy I like having around me. And I always tell them every single day how much I appreciate every single one of them. And
Yeah, absolutely. And your passion and your faith has built this empire. And you stuck to those grassroots fundamentals, those things that your father's taught you. And look at the amazing stuff that you're doing. It's absolutely incredible. You're such an inspiration.
Thank you.
What can we expect for the future? We've got Olympia coming up. Are we?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got to pack on some serious size to be against those guys for sure, 100%. But basically, we've got a really massive competition next year, April, which I can't say just yet, but we're heading abroad to compete over there. And it's funny because my dad is involved in this as well. He's actually the one who's speaking to the federation to get me over there to compete against these guys. So that's the plan next year for competition. To compete abroad, and really just bring something fresh to this federation that we're going to go to, and yeah, just show what the UK shreds are looking like over there. And then it's always just building with the brands, building my brand, and going forward with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll make sure we put all the links as well so that the audience can connect and go and check out, the work that you're doing. I'm a follower, big fan, so been so for so long, and you're doing a great job. What's your handles again, just so that the audience can connect?
Sure. So everything is Moziah Pinder. Everything is Moziah Pinder. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Everything's Moziah Pinder. My website is Moziah Pinder. So yeah, I make it very easy for everyone.
We'll get that all there. Moziah, it's been an absolute pleasure. You are an incredible person. Your work ethic, your influence, and your dedication to your art and to what you do. You've applied that to so many different things, into whether it's cooking, whether it's the businesses that you work with, whether it's your own brand that you're building. It's all about passion and faith, and that's come across clearly. And if we can just take just a snippet of that, we will do incredible things. We cannot wait to see how your journey continues to grow. And it's been a complete success. And we know that much more is still to come. So we appreciate you. We celebrate you. Thank you.
Amos, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And again, the work that you're doing is amazing. And I'm so grateful to be able to be on your show, and to be able to be in your presence as well, to really just to spread the word and spread good vibes for sure. So thank you.
Always humble. Thank you. If you want some amazing inspiration, check out the videos next to me, and I'll see you right there.